The U.S. government sat on Tesla's entire estate for 10 years.
On a cold January morning in 1943, government agents descended upon room 3327 of the Hotel New Yorker. Within those walls lay the final belongings of Nikola Tesla, who had died just days earlier.
He was a recluse, living alone in 2 rooms of the Hotel New Yorker.
What followed was one of the most enigmatic seizures of scientific materials in modern history. Tesla's papers, potentially containing world-changing discoveries, were quickly removed, catalogued, and largely hidden from public view.
They say that after he died alone in his hotel room in New York, the FBI confiscated all his belongings, taking all his documents with them.
The man who had harnessed electricity, pioneered radio technology, and envisioned wireless energy transmission had left behind a treasure trove of unfinished work.
The mere facts of Tesla's life and his death lends itself to all sorts of wild speculation.
But what exactly did those sealed boxes contain? What revolutionary ideas were locked away that day? And most intriguingly, why did the American government move with such urgency to secure the belongings of a penniless inventor who had died in relative obscurity?
Did Nikola Tesla find the secret to unlimited energy?
To understand the significance of Tesla's sealed vault, we must first understand the man himself.
A pure scientific genius. Tesla is not dead. He is very much alive among us.
Born in 1856 in what is now Croatia.
It was the 10th of July, 1856. A baby was born. His name was Nikola. Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla arrived in America with little more than 4 cents in his pocket and a letter of recommendation to Thomas Edison.
Tesla arrived on the ship with 4 cents in his pocket and a bundle of clothing. Shortly after arriving here, he goes to see Thomas Edison.
What he lacked in financial resources, he made up for with an extraordinary mind, one that could visualize complete working inventions without ever putting pencil to paper. Tesla's genius quickly became apparent during his brief employment with Edison. While Edison relied on tedious trial and error, Tesla approached problems with mathematical precision and imaginative leaps. Their relationship soured when Edison allegedly promised Tesla $50,000 for improving his direct current generators.
Edison immediately gives him a challenge. I have all these generators failing all over the city. Nobody can fix them. If you do it, I'll give you a $50,000 bonus.
A promise Edison later dismissed as a joke, reportedly saying, "Tesla, you don't understand American humor."
Generators gets them all fixed. Edison says, "I don't think you understand the American sense of humor. That $50,000 was just a little joke."
This betrayal would be the first of many that would haunt Tesla's career. Despite this setback, Tesla went on to develop the alternating current AC electrical system we still use today. While Edison stubbornly clung to direct current DC, Tesla partnered with George Westinghouse to light the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago and harness the power of Niagara Falls, achievements that helped electrify America and subsequently the world.
It's just amazing from a history standpoint. Tesla helped create the foundation of our electrical grid.
But AC power was just the beginning. Tesla invented the induction motor, pioneered X-ray imaging, developed remote control technology, and laid the groundwork for radio communication, often years before others who later claimed credit.
We have light bulbs, we run our refrigerators, our air conditioners, our electrical motors. All of that is all directly back to Tesla.
He registered over 300 patents worldwide, yet so many of his ideas remained unpatented and undeveloped. What makes Tesla's story particularly tragic is how thoroughly he was erased from popular history. While contemporaries like Edison and Marconi became household names, Tesla died nearly penniless in hotel room 3327, feeding pigeons on the windowsill, his greatest visions unrealized.
He had the idea of building a global wireless power network.
The man who had once lit up the night sky with artificial lightning from his Colorado Springs laboratory had been reduced to a footnote in the history books until the contents of his sealed laboratory reignited interest in what might have been lost.
They say that after he died alone in his hotel room in New York, the FBI confiscated all his belongings, taking all his documents with them.
The final days and government intervention. Tesla's final years stand in stark contrast to the brilliance of his prime. By January 1943, the once celebrated inventor was living on credit at the Hotel New Yorker, his days of scientific celebrity long behind him. He had become increasingly eccentric, claiming communications with other planets and professing love for a particular pigeon with beams of light in its eyes. To those who didn't know his genius, he might have seemed merely a peculiar old man, but certain government officials knew better. When Tesla died alone in his hotel room on January 7, 1943, the response was unusually swift. Within hours of the announcement of his death, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover ordered the Office of Alien Property to seize all of Tesla's belongings. The official story was straightforward. Tesla was an immigrant with relatives in enemy territory. His nephew lived in Yugoslavia, then under Nazi occupation, and his scientific work might contain information vital to national security. But the timing and intensity of the government's interest raised questions. Why was the FBI so concerned about the papers of a man they had largely ignored while he was alive? The answer likely lies in the global context. World War II was raging and America was desperately searching for technological advantages. The Manhattan Project was underway and the race for superior weapons technology had become paramount to national security. According to witnesses, men in black suits arrived at the New Yorker hotel and removed numerous trunks of documents and personal effects. Tesla's nephew, Sava Kosanovich, contested this seizure, claiming rightful inheritance. But by the time Kosanovich gained access to some of the materials, many believe the most sensitive documents had already been removed or copied. What's particularly intriguing is who supervised the initial review of Tesla's papers. It wasn't merely FBI agents, but specialists from the Naval Research Laboratory and the Office of Scientific Research and Development, organizations deeply involved in wartime technological advancement. John G. Trump, an MIT professor and engineer and uncle to future President Donald Trump, was called in to examine the technical documents. In his report, Trump declared that there was nothing of significant military value among Tesla's papers.
The Soviets gave him $25,000 for some preliminary details regarding the particle beam weapon.
Operation Paperclip Connection. The timing of Tesla's death and the government seizure of his work coincides with one of the most secretive scientific initiatives in American history, Operation Paperclip. While not officially connected in government records, the convergence of these events offers a compelling narrative thread that helps explain the urgency behind securing Tesla's research. Operation Paperclip, formally launched in 1945 but planned earlier, was the covert program through which the United States recruited German scientists, engineers, and technicians following World War II. The goal was simple but controversial: prevent German scientific expertise from falling into Soviet hands and bolster America's own technological capabilities, regardless of the scientists' Nazi affiliations. Tesla's research, particularly in the fields of directed energy, wireless transmission, and what we now call particle physics, would have been of enormous interest to military planners preparing for both the culmination of World War II and the looming Cold War. His theoretical Teleforce weapon, often sensationalized as the Death Ray, represented exactly the kind of leap-ahead technology that Operation Paperclip sought to secure. Consider the scientific context. By 1943, the Manhattan Project was well underway, seeking to harness atomic energy for weapons. German scientists had made significant advances in rocket technology with the V-2. The technological race that would define the next several decades was just beginning. Into this environment, Tesla's theoretical work on particle beams and wireless energy transmission represented potential game-changing technology. Documents released decades later reveal that the FBI had been monitoring Tesla in his final years. His known associations with various diplomatic representatives, including some from Axis nations, had placed him under occasional surveillance. Though frail and impoverished, Tesla's mind and his papers remained valuable assets in the eyes of intelligence agencies. The connection between Tesla's research and Operation Paperclip becomes even more intriguing when examining the areas of focus for the recruited German scientists. Many were specialists in fields that overlapped with Tesla's work: electromagnetic research, advanced propulsion systems, and energy weapons. Were Tesla's theoretical frameworks providing context or direction for the practical applications developed by these scientists?
The US government sat on Tesla's entire estate for 10 years.
The laboratory contents revealed. When government agents finally catalogued Tesla's belongings, they discovered a treasure trove that reflected both the brilliance and chaos of the inventor's mind. The official inventory, partially declassified years later, provides a fascinating glimpse into Tesla's final work, though many believe the most sensitive materials never made it onto the public record. In Tesla's hotel room and storage facilities, agents found approximately 80 trunks and suitcases containing an estimated 20,000 pages of notes, diagrams, calculations, and personal correspondence. The collection included hundreds of notebooks filled with detailed technical drawings, many featuring Tesla's distinctive script with notes in multiple languages. Among the more mundane items were Tesla's clothes, personal effects, and his beloved collection of feeding implements for the pigeons he cherished. But interspersed among these were extraordinary scientific instruments, custom-built electrical components, prototype devices, and measuring equipment modified to Tesla's exacting specifications. One particularly interesting find was a collection of small, precisely machined metal spheres whose purpose remains debated to this day. Were they components for a resonance experiment or parts of a larger, unfinished invention? The papers themselves covered an astonishing range of topics. There were detailed calculations for improvements to his alternating current systems, refined designs for turbines, and extensive notes on what Tesla called teleautomatics, the field we now recognize as robotics and remote control. His obsession with wireless power transmission dominated many notebooks with increasingly complex mathematical models for how such systems might work on a global scale. Perhaps most intriguing were the documents related to what Tesla called his dynamic theory of gravity, an attempt to unify the fundamental forces of nature decades before modern physics would tackle similar questions. These papers contained mathematical formulations that, according to some physicists who've studied the available records, were remarkably prescient in anticipating aspects of quantum mechanics and field theory. Photographs taken during the inventory process show rooms filled with disassembled equipment, prototype devices in various stages of completion, and walls covered with diagrams. One particularly notable item was a complex apparatus featuring concentric metal rings surrounding a central sphere, believed by some researchers to be a model for Tesla's theoretical system for extracting energy from the atmosphere. What's notably absent from publicly available inventories are complete blueprints for Tesla's most controversial theoretical weapons. While references to concepts appear in fragments, the detailed technical specifications that would make construction possible are conspicuously missing, either never committed to paper, destroyed by Tesla himself, or removed during classification reviews.
Tesla was making very substantial claims about so-called teleforce rays that could bring down airplanes from thousands of miles away.
The death ray documents. Of all Tesla's theoretical inventions, none has captivated the public imagination or generated more conspiracy theories than his so-called death ray. Tesla himself never used this sensationalist term, preferring instead to call his concept teleforce or a directed energy weapon. But what exactly did the government find relating to this legendary device, and how close was Tesla to making it a reality? The documents recovered from Tesla's possessions included several notebooks containing calculations and conceptual designs for what he described as a new form of particle beam projection. Unlike the ray guns of science fiction, Tesla's concept operated on sophisticated physical principles. The acceleration of microscopic particles to tremendous velocities through electrostatic repulsion, creating a concentrated beam capable of delivering enormous energy to a distant target. Contrary to popular myth, Tesla wasn't proposing to harness some unknown form of energy. Rather, his innovation lay in the method of particle acceleration and beam focusing. His notes described a vacuum chamber design where mercury would be vaporized and its atoms charged to millions of volts before being projected through a specialized nozzle. The physics behind this approach align with principles later used in particle accelerators, suggesting Tesla's theoretical foundation was sound. What makes the death ray documents particularly interesting is their evolution over time. Early sketches from the 1890s show relatively crude concepts, but his later designs from the 1930s demonstrate remarkable sophistication. Tesla claimed his final design could project destructive energy at a distance of 200 miles with such force as to bring down a fleet of 10,000 enemy airplanes and to put an army of millions out of action. While such claims seem hyperbolic, they reflect Tesla's belief in the weapon's potential. In 1934, Tesla publicly announced he had invented a defensive weapon that would make war obsolete by creating an invisible Chinese wall of defense. He shopped this concept to various governments, including the United States, Soviet Union, and United Kingdom. The limited documentation we have access to shows that while officials met with Tesla, they generally dismissed his proposals as the fantasies of an aging inventor, at least publicly. The most tantalizing aspect of the death ray documents is what appears to be missing. References in Tesla's correspondence mention full technical specifications and operational schematics that don't appear in the publicly available inventories. Whether these documents ever existed, were destroyed by Tesla himself, or were quietly classified remains one of the enduring mysteries of the Tesla files.
Tesla was obsessed. He wanted to distribute electrical power to all parts of the Earth.
Wireless energy transmission blueprints. Perhaps Tesla's most revolutionary and persistent vision was the wireless transmission of electrical power across vast distances. Unlike radio, which transmits information through electromagnetic waves, Tesla proposed transmitting actual usable energy without wires, a concept that would transform human civilization if successfully implemented. The document seized from his laboratory contained his most refined thinking on this world-changing technology. Tesla's vision for wireless power wasn't a sudden inspiration, but rather the culmination of decades of research. His notebooks show a methodical progression from his early experiments with high-frequency currents to increasingly sophisticated systems for transmitting energy through the Earth and atmosphere. By the 1930s, his calculations had become remarkably precise, addressing issues of power loss, transmission efficiency, and global distribution that had stumped other researchers. At the core of Tesla's wireless transmission system was what he called the magnifying transmitter, a device designed to create standing electrical waves in the Earth itself. Unlike conventional radio antennas that broadcast energy in all directions, Tesla's system would use the planet as a conductor, allowing energy to be extracted at any point with the proper receiving equipment. His notes contained detailed specifications for both the transmitting and receiving apparatus, including precise measurements, materials requirements, and expected performance metrics. The most complete blueprints recovered related to an improved version of his Wardenclyffe Tower design. These documents included refined calculations addressing the problems that had plagued his earlier attempt, specifically how to maintain transmission efficiency over intercontinental distances. Tesla had apparently solved several of the key technical challenges that led to Wardenclyffe's failure, including improved methods for coupling the transmitter to Earth's natural resonant frequency. Particularly fascinating were Tesla's calculations regarding what he called the transmission nodes, specific points on Earth's surface where receiving stations would capture maximum energy with minimal equipment. His notes included global maps with these points precisely plotted using a mathematical formula that accounted for Earth's electromagnetic properties. Modern analysis suggests his calculations were remarkably accurate given the limited geophysical data available in his time. Tesla's wireless power concepts extended beyond simply replacing transmission lines. His later notebooks outline applications, including powering aircraft in flight, energizing remote industrial operations, and even influencing weather patterns through targeted energy delivery to the upper atmosphere. While some of these applications remain theoretical even today, others have found validation in modern technologies like wireless charging and power beaming experiments. What made these documents particularly valuable was their completeness. Unlike many of Tesla's other concepts that existed primarily as theoretical frameworks, his wireless power transmission work included detailed engineering specifications, test results from his Colorado Springs experiments, and methodical troubleshooting of the technical challenges. This wasn't merely a visionary concept, but a developed technology awaiting implementation. The contents of Tesla's sealed laboratory take on special significance when viewed through the lens of his most ambitious unfinished project, the Wardenclyffe Tower. This 187-foot structure on Long Island, begun in 1901 and never completed as Tesla envisioned, represented the physical embodiment of his wireless transmission dreams. The documents recovered after his death shed new light on what might have been, and perhaps explain why the project faced such determined opposition. Wardenclyffe wasn't merely a tower, but a proof of concept for Tesla's global energy system. The structure featured an unusual design, a wooden tower topped with a large metal dome with a network of iron pipes and tunnels extending deep into the ground below. While often described simply as a radio broadcasting station, Tesla's personal notes reveal it was designed primarily as an energy transmitter with communication capabilities as a secondary function. The laboratory documents contain surprisingly detailed records of the Wardenclyffe project, including information not previously available to historians. Tesla had preserved the original architectural plans, engineering specifications, and most valuably, his notes on the modifications he would have made had funding continued. These revised designs addressed the structural and electrical limitations that had plagued the original construction. Particularly revealing were Tesla's calculations regarding the tower's true capabilities. While publicly he had sometimes downplayed Wardenclyffe's purpose to secure additional funding, his private notes were explicit. The facility was designed to transmit industrial amounts of electrical power wirelessly across the Atlantic as a first step toward a global power distribution system. His technical drawings showed how the dome would create a connection to what he called the upper conducting layer of the atmosphere, forming a circuit with the ground connection below. The recovered documents also included Tesla's correspondence with financial backers, including J.P. Morgan. These letters reveal the true reason for Morgan's withdrawal of support, not as often claimed because Tesla mentioned wireless power rather than just communications, but because Tesla's system threatened to create an uncountable, uncontrollable form of energy distribution. This system, Tesla wrote in one unsent draft letter, would eliminate the need for copper conductors and centralize generating facilities, allowing any location on Earth to draw the power it requires. Most intriguing were Tesla's notes on experiments conducted at Wardenclyffe before funding dried up. These limited tests had apparently confirmed several of his key theoretical principles, including the ability to transmit measurable electrical energy to receivers several miles away without connecting wires. These successful results make the project's abandonment all the more tragic from a technological perspective. The laboratory papers also contained Tesla's analysis of why Wardenclyffe failed as a commercial venture. Beyond the financing issues, he identified technical challenges that would have required resolution, including energy losses in transmission and interference issues that occurred during certain atmospheric conditions. However, his later notes outlined solutions to these problems that he never had the opportunity to implement. The missing patents. One of the most perplexing aspects of Tesla's legacy revealed by the laboratory contents was the substantial gap between his documented inventions and his theoretical work. While Tesla held approximately 300 patents worldwide, the materials seized from his laboratory suggested dozens of additional inventions that never received patent protection. This discrepancy offers fascinating insights into both Tesla's working methods and the potential technologies that might have been lost. Tesla's approach to intellectual property was uniquely complex. Unlike many inventors who rushed to patent every minor improvement, Tesla often delayed filing until he had perfected a concept, sometimes waiting too long and losing priority to others. His laboratory notebooks contain detailed records of inventions developed years before similar patents were granted to other inventors, including early work on logical circuits that predated modern computing. Among the most significant unpatented inventions documented in his papers was a mechanical oscillator capable of generating specific frequencies with unprecedented precision. Tesla had built working prototypes but never filed formal patents, believing the commercial applications weren't yet apparent. Ironically, similar devices would become central to telecommunications and computing decades later. The laboratory materials included a substantial folder labeled Priority Documentations, Tesla's private records establishing his claim to various inventions. These included witnessed and notarized descriptions of devices he developed but chose not to patent for various reasons. Some he considered too fundamental to monopolize. Others he planned to incorporate into larger systems before seeking protection, and still others he deliberately kept secret, fearing misuse of potentially dangerous technologies. Particularly notable were Tesla's detailed designs for what he called an atmospheric electron extraction device, essentially a method for drawing electrical energy directly from the environment. While elements of this concept appeared in his public lectures, the specific implementation details remained unpublished and unpatented. These documents included working calculations of potential energy yields and circuit diagrams for the conversion apparatus. The inventory also revealed Tesla's deliberate strategy of compartmentalizing his most revolutionary work. He would patent the peripheral components of a system while keeping the core technology as a trade secret. This approach is evident in his particle beam research, where he patented several components for high-voltage generation while never disclosing the central beam focusing mechanism in any public document. Perhaps most tantalizing were references to patents Tesla intended to file but never completed. His personal calendar noted deadlines for patent applications related to gravitational energy conversion and an improved wireless transmission system, technologies that could have been revolutionary but never entered the public record. The laboratory contained draft patent applications for these concepts, complete with technical drawings and claims sections, apparently ready for filing but never submitted. Scientific validation, what worked? With the benefit of nearly 8 decades of scientific advancement since Tesla's death, we can now assess his theoretical inventions with greater clarity. Which concepts found in his laboratory materials have been validated by modern science, and which remain beyond our current technological capabilities? The answer reveals Tesla's remarkable foresight while contextualizing some of his more ambitious claims. Perhaps Tesla's most thoroughly validated concept was his work on remote control technology. His laboratory contained refined designs for what he called teleautomaton systems, wirelessly controlled devices that anticipated modern drones and robotics. Tesla had publicly demonstrated a radio-controlled boat in 1898, but his private papers revealed much more sophisticated control systems using frequency-selective circuits that formed the basis for secure command signals. These principles are now fundamental to everything from garage door openers to military guidance systems. His particle beam weapon concept, while often sensationalized, contained core principles that proved scientifically sound. Modern directed energy weapons like the active denial system utilize principles of concentrated electromagnetic energy that Tesla described, though implemented differently than his proposed method. His calculations regarding particle acceleration and beam coherence anticipated developments in particle physics that wouldn't be fully understood until decades after his death. Tesla's theories about electrical resonance and standing waves, central to his wireless power transmission concept, have been validated through numerous modern applications. His precise calculations of Earth's electromagnetic resonant frequency, later measured at 7.83 Hz and named the Schumann resonance, were remarkably accurate despite the limited measuring equipment of his era. Modern wireless charging systems, while operating at much shorter ranges than Tesla envisioned, utilize the resonant coupling principles he pioneered. His work on what he called radiant energy contained elements that align with our current understanding of zero-point energy and quantum field theory. While Tesla's specific extraction methods remain unverified, his theoretical framework anticipated aspects of quantum mechanics that weren't formally developed until years after he proposed them. Recent experiments with energy harvesting from ambient electromagnetic fields suggest Tesla's approach wasn't entirely implausible. Tesla's mechanical oscillator, his infamous earthquake machine, operated on principles of resonant frequency that are now well established in structural engineering. While the dramatic tales of Tesla nearly toppling buildings are likely exaggerated, his understanding of how small, properly tuned forces can produce large effects through resonance is now fundamental to both construction and seismic design. Not all Tesla's concepts have been validated, however. His theories about transmitting power through the Earth itself have not been successfully implemented at the scale he envisioned, though limited demonstrations of ground current transmission have proven the underlying principle. Similarly, his ideas about harnessing atmospheric electricity remain largely theoretical, with limited practical applications demonstrated despite ongoing research. Perhaps most significantly, Tesla's unified field theory, his attempt to connect gravity with electromagnetic phenomena, contains elements that both align with and contradict modern physics. While his intuition about the interconnection of forces was prescient, his specific mathematical approach differs substantially from current theoretical frameworks like general relativity and quantum field theory. Popular conspiracies examined the mysterious circumstances surrounding Tesla's death, and the government's seizure of his papers have spawned countless conspiracy theories over the decades. While most can be dismissed as speculative fiction, a critical examination of the evidence reveals some theories contain elements of truth, while others represent complete fabrications. Let's separate fact from fantasy by examining the most persistent claims. The most common conspiracy theory suggests that the US government suppressed Tesla's free energy technology to protect the interests of the electrical utility industry. The laboratory documents provide a more nuanced reality. While Tesla indeed developed theoretical frameworks for wireless power transmission, the technical challenges of implementation were substantial. Government records show officials were skeptical of the practical viability of Tesla's system rather than fearful of its economic implications.
My currents can be domesticated. My currents will be your servants.
That said, declassified FBI documents confirm that economic considerations were discussed when evaluating Tesla's technologies, suggesting some truth to claims that market disruption was a concern. Another persistent theory claims Tesla's death ray technology was secretly developed into functional weapon systems. The evidence here is mixed. While no direct line can be drawn between Tesla's particle beam concept and any acknowledged weapons program, principles he described do appear in later directed energy research. Declassified documents from the Strategic Defense Initiative Star Wars game program of the 1980s reference Tesla's work as historical context, though not as direct technical inspiration. The technical challenges Tesla identified in his notes regarding beam focusing and power requirements remain problematic even for modern weapons researchers. Some theorists maintain Tesla successfully developed anti-gravity technology or devices that could manipulate space-time. His laboratory materials provide little support for these claims. While Tesla did speculate about gravity and its relationship to electromagnetic phenomena, his notes contain thought experiments rather than functional designs. His dynamic theory of gravity remained theoretical, with no evidence of working prototypes or successful experiments manipulating gravitational forces. Perhaps the most extreme conspiracy theory suggests Tesla made contact with extraterrestrial intelligences through his radio experiments. Tesla did claim to have detected seemingly artificial signals during his Colorado Springs experiments, describing them as a regular order that couldn't be explained by natural phenomena. However, his laboratory notes reveal he later concluded these were likely natural planetary radio emissions, a phenomenon not understood in his era but now well documented by astronomers. The theory that Tesla developed earthquake-inducing technology has some limited basis in fact. His mechanical oscillator experiments demonstrated principles of resonance that could theoretically be scaled up. However, his laboratory notes show he recognized the practical limitations of such technology, calculating that the energy requirements for geological effects would be prohibitive. The famous story of Tesla nearly destroying a building with a pocket-sized device appears to be an exaggeration of a much more limited demonstration. Several conspiracy theories involve classified projects allegedly based on Tesla's work, including the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HARP, in Alaska. While HARP does utilize principles of ionospheric research that Tesla pioneered, the technical approach differs significantly from Tesla's proposed methods. His laboratory documents show his atmospheric energy concepts operated on different principles than modern ionospheric research facilities. Tesla's lasting legacy. The contents of Tesla's sealed laboratory didn't just provide historical insights. They helped catalyze a renaissance in appreciation for his work that continues to influence modern technology and scientific inquiry. His posthumous impact may ultimately prove as significant as the innovations he introduced during his lifetime. Perhaps the most direct line of influence can be traced through Tesla's radio frequency work. Documents from his laboratory contained detailed specifications for tuned circuits and resonance systems that anticipated modern telecommunications architecture. These principles became fundamental to the development of cellular networks, where precisely tuned frequencies enable massive information transmission. Engineers at companies like Motorola and Bell Laboratories acknowledged consulting Tesla's papers when developing early mobile communication systems in the 1970s. Tesla's energy concepts have experienced a remarkable resurrection in recent decades. His vision of wireless power transmission, once dismissed as impractical, has emerged in modern technologies like resonant inductive coupling, the system now used in everything from electric toothbrush chargers to smartphone charging pads. Companies including Qualcomm, Samsung, and Apple have developed commercial wireless charging systems that operate on principles Tesla described in his seized laboratory notes, though at shorter ranges than he envisioned. The renewable energy movement owes a significant debt to Tesla's thinking about distributed power systems. His concept of harnessing environmental energy and making it universally available aligns perfectly with modern solar and wind initiatives. Documents from his laboratory reveal he had calculated the total solar energy reaching Earth and designed theoretical collection systems remarkably similar to contemporary photovoltaic arrays. His vision of energy abundance rather than scarcity has become a cornerstone of sustainable development philosophy. Tesla's robotics and automation concepts, detailed in his teleautomatics writings, provided a philosophical framework that continues to influence artificial intelligence research. His laboratory notes described autonomous systems with decision-making capabilities based on environmental inputs, a fundamental principle of modern robotics. Tesla envisioned machines that could act as though possessed of reason, a concept now being realized through machine learning algorithms and neural networks. The medical field has increasingly recognized Tesla's contributions, particularly through his high-frequency electrical research. His laboratory contained detailed studies on the physiological effects of electromagnetic fields, including therapeutic applications. Modern treatments, including transcranial magnetic stimulation, certain cancer therapies, and electrical stimulation for wound healing, apply principles first explored in Tesla's research. His notebooks contained observations about cellular responses to specific frequencies that medical researchers have confirmed decades later. Even Tesla's more theoretical work has found modern application. His concepts relating to standing waves and resonance have influenced developments in quantum field theory. His speculations about extracting energy from space align with current research into zero-point energy. The principles behind his mechanical oscillator have been applied to everything from ultrasonic cleaning devices to advanced manufacturing techniques. Perhaps most importantly, Tesla's approach to invention, his willingness to pursue radical ideas despite institutional skepticism, has become a model for innovation-focused organizations. Companies like SpaceX and research initiatives like DARPA explicitly reference Tesla's cross-disciplinary approach when describing their methodologies. His laboratory notebooks reveal a unique problem-solving process that alternated between intuitive leaps and rigorous mathematical validation, an approach now taught in some engineering programs.